Roll call, please.
Jerza.
Larry, are you there?
Still on voicemail? Still on hold?
Larry? All together, I think.
Lost him.
Larry?
Yeah, okay.
All right, just a second.
Thanks, Larry.
You bet.
We thought we lost you for a minute.
Oh, okay, I was listening to this news.
Okay. Well, you've answered roll call, so Mark will go on.
Yep. Osterloo. Genslinger.
Here.
Sonny.
Here.
Penny. Schmitz.
Here.
Wilshire. Larson.
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right. The proposed agenda has been provided prior to the meeting to all of the members. Is there anything on it that someone needs to declare a conflict of interest on that you can see?
I'm going to repeat myself, number 7.
Okay, thank you.
Mark.
Anybody else? Hearing none, we're ready to look at the agenda.
Just tried to call him.
Do I hear a motion to approve?
He said Mark.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded that the agenda be approved as presented. Discussion on the motion. Hearing none, I assume we're ready to vote. Mark, we'll have to go roll call.
Genslinger.
Yes.
Sonny. Yes. Schmitz.
Yes.
Jerza.
Yes.
Larson.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right. Next item is the approval of the minutes of the 25th of July. They too have been provided in the packet. Does anybody have any additions or corrections? Hearing none, I assume we are ready for a motion.
Move to approve. Second.
Moved and seconded that the minutes be approved as presented. Discussion on the motion. Hearing none, I assume you're ready to vote. Okay, Mark, let's go.
Genslinger. Sonny.
Yes.
Schmitz.
Yes.
Jerza.
Yes.
Larson.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is to schedule the next meeting for this commission. Tentatively, it should be on the 22nd of August. Do I hear a motion?
Second.
Moved and seconded to set the date. Discussion on the motion. Hearing none, I assume we're ready to vote. All right, Mark, go again.
Schmitz.
Yes.
Sonny.
Yes.
Genslinger.
Yes.
Jerza.
Yes.
Larson.
Yep.
Motion carried.
All right, next item.
Let's try and get you back on.
We're going to see if we can get Mr. Van Buskirk there. The next item is rezoning for Van Buskirk Companies. Technology.
I think we lost Larry.
Hello, Steve.
Hi, Steve. Mark from CD Mitchell.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. Sorry about that earlier. I had a bad setting on my phone.
Nope, that's okay. We've got you. Larry, are you still there? Lost Larry. Joe, can you call Larry? Yep.
All right, the request under item number 7 is the Van Buskirks at the southwest corner of the intersection of 255th Street and 411th Avenue is representing Trent Johnson and the James River Ridge Farms LLP, and they are requesting that the following property legally described as the northeast quarter, except Lot A of C. Anderson's first edition of Section 35, T103, Range 60, west of the 5th parallel meridian, Davison County, South Dakota, be changed from urban development district to industrial district, and that the official zoning map be changed to reflect the same. Have you got Larry along with us? Okay.
Yes, I'm here.
All right.
So notices were sent out to the neighbors, published in the paper. We did get one letter back, which was for it, which you have in front of you. Didn't make the packet. Larry, I emailed it to you before this meeting. I'm going to let Steve Van Busker talk about it because he's representing the applicants. Just for everyone's knowledge of kind of where this is, you've got MTC kind of kitty corner to the northeast, or excuse me, northwest there. You've got Dakota Fest to the north, and then to the west would be where the cattle yard is at. To the east of this would all be county zoning, which is ag-res, and also to the south is also county ag-res as well.
Okay.
But Steve, I'll turn it over to you to give your presentation.
Sure, thank you. Yeah, and appreciate the accommodation being able to phone in today. I don't know if you heard, but I got tested positive for COVID this morning, so my plans changed in a big hurry. So I was intending to be out there in person, but couldn't make it. But yeah, thank you for hearing our petition this morning. We're working for James River Farms, trying to, maybe to find a better, a higher use for the land rather than the agriculture use that they've got going now. It looked like a natural fit for us with the industrial that's going on around there, the development that's continuing. It seems like there's a bit of a need in town for some more industrial, nice flat. It's not going to take a whole lot of work. I'm sure you're a little bit familiar with that area, but it's nice level ground. So we kind of identified it as an easy place to work off a paved road there, to put in some more industrial. We don't have any specific uses in mind. We're just going to be opportunistic, but be the things that are consistent with the zoning code as far as what would go in there, and if there's any conditional uses for something heavier, which we're not really anticipating, you'd come back as required. So from there, I'd answer any questions.
Anybody got any questions?
I have one.
Yep.
Yeah,
All right, you
I'm
have a
Gary.
gentleman that's going to talk to us a little bit.
I'm Gary Swaffman. I own the farm where Dakota Fest is. And my understanding is that the wastewater that is irrigated across the road there, people can't be in there when they're irrigating. And if they continue to irrigate, they won't be able to have them buildings there. Or they're going to have to, something's going to have to be done there. And I would like to know what's going in across the road from me. I don't want something to go in there that I don't approve of. The storage sheds would be okay, but with that irrigation there, they're probably going to have to quit irrigating that quarter of land. Thank you.
Okay, and I'm pretty sure you heard did you hear what he was asking?
I think I got the question. What happens with the irrigation system as the industrial development comes along? Is that right? Is that good?
That's pretty much the question.
Okay. Yeah, so that's one of our concerns because they've got a lot of infrastructure in that pivot. It's the center pivot there. So what we're thinking is that when some sort of development, storage sheds, truck transfer yard or whatever it might be, you would have to be at 40 acres. So go to a 3/4 pivot, right out of the gate, or if it's something that has to be bigger, which would be surprising to everybody, I think, is that we drop it to 80 acres. So we'd only, the owners would only irrigate, half or 3/4 of the property rather than the entire property.
Is this property going to be put into the city of Mitchell?
No, it's not contiguous because there's a little triangle up there. They do that truck driving training or something up there. I'm not 100% clear what happens in that corner, but there's a triangular piece in there. And then your property is not in the city of Mitchell. So, and then the stockyards aren't in the city of Mitchell. So we don't touch the city of Mitchell. So we can't bring it into the city of Mitchell.
Any further questions? All right, identify yourself, please.
I'm Marge Schlafman, Gary's wife. I'm concerned about how it is now zoned urban development when it's been ag for years and years and years.
I think I can help you with that. I'm kind of the historian around here. Back in the day, when zoning came into Mitchell back in the early 60s, areas that were, see, remember that the city of Mitchell has the right to determine what zones are within a 3-mile contiguous area. Well, if they didn't know what they wanted to put in, and they called it urban development. And you've got a piece out there. To the west of town, there are several chunks of urban development and the idea for urban development was as it develops around it, this zoning will be changed to something similar as what's going on. That's where we're at with this piece of property right now, it looks to me like.
So changing from urban development to industrial district, does that prohibit some things or invite some other things?
Yes, it changes the use of what can be done out there. Ag is business. There are businesses that are allowed in there. Some of the stuff that he has mentioned would be allowed out there. Industrial allows a lot more except for residential uses.
That is excluded.
Excluded. There's a few that are excluded or conditional uses for industrial, and I can bring that up for you right now. So permitted uses are, all lawful uses are permitted in this district except the following prohibited and conditional use. Prohibited are any residential structures, any educational institutions, any parks and playgrounds, or any religious institutions. Conditional uses are egg processing, crematorium, distilleries, mining, grain terminal, heavy manufacturing, junkyards, large wind conversion systems, livestock, manufacturing of explosives, off-premise signs over 300, a quarry, refining, rendering operations, a landfill, sewage treatment, or smelting.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions? All right, Commission, do you have any questions for Mr. Van Buskirk?
Where's the pivot? I don't see any
No, there's a
signs
center
of it.
pivot on that. big
On
truck.
that.
Yep. And see, that's part of the system that was put in the, correct me if I'm wrong, Joe, but about the early to mid 1970s, that was an innovative alternative for handling wastewater. And there are several wastewater pivots and some gun irrigation and so on done out there yet. And it's still using wastewater, semi-treated wastewater. The city got a real break on their EPA money to do that at the time. And it was one of the first ones in the nation, and it's not uncommon anymore to use wastewater for irrigation purposes. You got anything to add, Joe? Am I right? Or
No, that is right. And the wastewater that is irrigated is able to be released, like that's what we release into our streams as treated water back into the system, or back into the natural water system.
And it's been there since the, what, mid-70s, I think.
So the decommissioning of the pivot wouldn't affect the effluent?
No,
We would just.
We would release more.
Right.
Right, yep. And all of their wastewater pivots are permitted through DANR as well.
The water that gets put back into the Jim River is in the fall when that passes
Yep.
inspection. Though.
Yes,
Not
yep.
like what goes into the treatment plant, so the irrigation.
They pump that out of the same pond. I'd have to go back and see there's effluent limits on what they can put on the fields and the river. Yep,
But not into the irrigations.
I believe there is. There are effluent limits. I can double check that, but
Yeah, I flew over them, the wastewater ponds a number of years ago, and I will never forget, as you fly over them, you can see how much the effluent in those ponds is changing by the color of the pond. And I think that's probably still true today. I haven't been up in an airplane for a long time, but
But this is treated effluent.
it is treated effluent.
I can't remember what part of the system it pulls it from, but it is towards the end of the system.
And it has to meet the same kind of quality standards, the way I understand it. And the reason I know something about this is I spent 32 years doing wastewater stuff for small rural communities, and this was an innovative alternative, and it's not considered as an innovative alternative, so you don't get a lot of grant money for it, like you did back when this was built. But it's still done, and it's still used. Any other questions?
What about infrastructure in that area? I mean, is that,
I don't think there's anything out there other than the irrigation stuff, which is privately owned, basically. Is that correct, Joe, that you know of?
Yeah, there's water close by, because the water's at MTI. But all that will be investigated as the process moves forward. They themselves will have options of how they want to have their domestic water and their domestic sewer. So that'll all be worked through moving forward in the process.
Okay, Mr. Van Buskirk, have you got anything else to add?
No, yeah, it sounds like what you're saying is everything that I've heard as well, so that seems all consistent. Thank you.
Anybody else got any questions? All right, then we're ready to move forward. We, as a committee, need to make a motion to send it to the council for their perusal.
so moved.
Isn't that correct, Mr. Attorney?
I believe you'd be making a recommendation.
Yes. Okay, and your motion is to recommend approval?
That is correct.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
This is Jerry, so I'll second it.
We have a second. Discussion on the motion? Hearing none. Mark, it's your turn.
Jerza,
Yes.
Genslinger. Sonny,
Yes.
Schmitz,
Yes.
Larson.
Yes.
Motion carried, will be heard at council next Monday night.
All right, next item.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Get better.
We'll probably disconnect you now if Mark wants to come and show me how to do it.
Just hit the red button.
Just hit the red button right there. Thanks.
We've got Larry on this phone.
All right. Next item. Ron Peterson at the southwest corner of the intersection of East Ivy and South Lawler Street is requesting the following property, which is legally described as lots 6, 7, and 8 of Block 18 Weaver Square Edition, City of Mitchell, Davis County, South Dakota, to be changed from R3 Medium Density Residential District to Highway Business District, and that the official zoning map be changed. Talk to us, Mark.
It was published in the paper. Neighbors were notified it was posted. Did not receive, or excuse me, received two letters in favor from it. They were in the packet with it. Mr. Peterson came in saying that he wanted to rezone this because he wants to put self-storage at this location. It is contiguous by going corner to corner from the northeast or from the northwest corner of his property across the roads there. I don't see Ron here at all for any questions for him.
All right. Anyone else in the audience have any questions or comments on this? Please identify yourself and come to the podium.
Nihilus Johnson. I live across the alley from that property, and it's been residential all these years. Why not leave it that way?
Well, obviously, the property owner wants to do something different with it than build houses or apartments.
Well, it's a mess over there now.
Yeah, that's the only reason he stated was he just wanted to change the use of it for putting up the self-storage units instead of building residential there.
Okay?
It's all residential around it. Why should them 3 lots be changed?
Well, you've got industrial, or excuse me, highway business around there to the corners each way. And he's just, with his piece of land, that's what he would like to do, but that's why it comes to this, and that's why you have the opportunity to speak. I'm guessing you're against it, if you're questioning it like that.
Yeah, I'd just soon see it just stay residential. The kind of a junkyard started there.
Well, and I kind of think he wants to clean it up, so it's not a junkyard there and do something else.
Well, it's been that way since we moved there.
No? Maybe it is time for a change.
Well, better clean it up before you want to change things.
All right. Thank you for your comment. Anybody else?
I'm having a hard time picturing where this property is. I mean, I'm familiar with the South Main and South Kimball, but yeah, I see that.
It's 2 blocks south of Havens. Clockworks would be up to the north. I'll pull it up on the, that'll give you a little bit better. So the bank is right here. Clockworks is right here and here. MTC, or excuse me, the school has this land right here, and right here would be the location of where he wants to put this. Part of this block is highway business. The south part is residential, R3 as well. But Clockworks, excuse me, Hackberry Holdings owns the whole thing, which I'm surprised they haven't come in to request to change that so that they can expand if that's what they need to do in the future.
What is the clock property to the east? How's that zone?
I
believe it's R3.
Yep, that whole block is R3.
How long has Ronald owned this property?
I'm not 100% on that. Let me see if I can pull it up.
Wrong time.
On the right, by the right. Sorry, right side, over. Right there. You have to open it, break it open.
Since 2000 is when he purchased the property.
All right, what's your pleasure, folks?
To me, it looks like it's on par with other properties in the area. I'd make a motion to approve.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Moved and seconded that we recommend approval to the council. Is there discussion on that motion?
It feels like spot zoning to me, based on what I'm seeing on this map.
Yeah, it's kitty cornered across, so we've done that before.
If this is spot zoning, then Hackberry Holdings' existing R3 would also be considered spot zoning. If this were to be approved. I could see that. But again, if corner to corner is not considered, then I think we'd be good there.
Okay, motion and a second. We've had some discussion. Hearing no further discussion, I assume you're ready to vote. Mark, go ahead.
Schmitz,
Yes.
Sonny,
Yes.
Genslinger,
No.
Jerza,
Yes.
Larson,
Yes.
motion carried.
All right, next item. Plan approval. Jensen Design Build LLC, 101 North Sanborn, is intending to remodel hotel space into a Copa room, lounge, and casino. It's located at 1001 South Burr. The property is zoned highway business.
Jeremy Jensen came in to us requesting or giving us the building permit layout for changing from the dwellings that go with the hotel to change it to a lounge. Came up with Copa because it's corn, CO for corn, PA for pal, so that's how they came up with the name of that. If it sounds really weird, that's why. So there'd be a video lottery in there as well as a bar area for liquor and malt beverage. I don't know if he has just a bar and wine or if it's a liquor license over there, but they need two of them because there's more than 10 machines, so they'd have two different licenses there. We talked with him about parking out there. He's going to need to show some more parking. He's got 4 or 5 along the front. There's plenty of room over on the side over here to put parking in there. They're not changing the ingress or egress out of anything, but we also told him he wouldn't be able to include any of the parking spots that are there for the hotel for this location. He needs about 12 spots for the parking for the whole area, but there's enough room to put that in there.
And are there any more questions?
Well, I have two concerns with the plans, just looking at them. Mostly for John Hager, but it seems to me his occupancy is going to be high enough. He's got to swing his doors outward. It's not showing it that way. And he's got 2 bathrooms that don't meet ADA compliance. I know we don't necessarily codify that, but we might just relay to Jensen Design Build that they need to look at that. They can choose to not do it if they want, but.
Well, this plan ain't for building, it's just for concept.
Correct.
We called him, me and Mark had him on the phone the other day, run over those exact things. He's got 2 exits.
He's got 4 exits.
He's obviously not more than 50, so his door swing might be able to be in, I'm not sure.
But that can be ironed out later on.
Oh, he's got to present a plan for construction.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a concept plan at this point in time, so.
I have a problem with the concept.
Yeah.
I just bring it up.
Sure.
Okay, what's your pleasure, folks? Anybody else got any comments? City guys? Let's look for a motion.
I'll move to approve.
Larry,
Yes.
it appears that these guys are reluctant to second someplace along the line. How about you?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you very well. You were breaking up.
I say, I haven't heard a second yet. How about you?
Oh, yes, I'll second it.
All right. It has been moved and seconded that we approve this plan, subject to building permit stuff. Further discussion on the motion? Thought I was going to have to take off my chairman's hat. All right, I hear no further discussion. Mark, go ahead.
Jerza,
Yes.
Genslinger,
Yes.
Sonny,
Yes.
Schmitz,
Yes.
Larson,
Yes.
motion carries.
Any other business to come before this body at this time? Seeing no one coming to the podium, it's time for public input. If you need to address the City Planning Commission on an item that was not on the agenda, excluding personnel items, please come forward to the podium and state your name and your concern. Presentations are limited to 3 minutes. Items will be considered, but no action will be taken at this time. Seeing no one coming to the podium, we are adjourned.
Thanks, Larry.
Thanks, Larry.
Okay.